Yeah. Oh, hey. Sorry. I forgot that I was doing a vlog right now that I planned out. Hey, welcome to Instant Replay Vlog. Last week, Rachel and I got to go up to PAX, where we hung out with our good friend on the internet, our viewer, our collaborator, Courier Luke. He was able to put us up for a few days to help save on hotel costs. We got to see Boston. It was an amazing time. Joe came up on the Friday after our trip, and man, I have so much to say, it's hard to process. I came back with a cold, which is less cool. Boston is one of the colder, grosser cities in America at times, and well, it was a lot of fun to be there and see some snow. Being on 10-degree weather is brutal sometimes. We saw so many things at PAX and played so many games. It's really hard to tell you where I want to begin with everything that was there. I mean, look at this hall. It was absolutely insane. One thing that we did decide was that while you could wait in line for hours for a big AAA dev like Bethesda, Gearbox, Nintendo even, those were staffed people manning booths to show off games that everyone's going to know about anyway. They're going to be all over the internet, they're going to be everywhere. So what we focused on instead was the small guys. We wanted to go to the indie booths, and it was amazing. It was absolutely the right choice. You get to meet the actual developer and have one-on-one conversations with them about their game, what they were thinking when they made it, why they made it, who they wanted the audience to be, what they want the audience to get out of it. And that's so much more impactful and so meaningful. I wish there's a part of me that really wants to just go through and tell you about every single indie game we played because they were so meaningful. It would take way too long. I can't do a 3-hour vlog, unfortunately, and even then, I might not get it all out. So instead, what I thought might be cool is if I tell you our top 3. We had, between Luke, Joe, and I, we had a good conversation. We kind of broke down what we liked and didn't like at the con, and it led to us having all of our own top 3s, but there were 3 shared games in those top 3s that I think are worth mentioning. So number 1, or number 3, we'll start with, well, there's no order, actually, because my top 3 is not somebody else's top 3. So the first one you'll hear about is Flint Hook. Joe found this game and was so into it that he went and got Luke and I, and then Luke got so into it that he bought a t-shirt on the spot. It's just a beautiful pixel art game with a neat, a hook, I should say. You are basically platforming, but instead of just typical platforming, you have a hook shot that you have to use to move around the boards. And the boards are, I believe, all randomly generated. It's kind of a roguelike, and it's a clever idea for moving that we've seen in games before, but executed well, and it is beautiful. And it puts it up on one of our highest indie games there at the con. Another one that we're really looking forward to playing on the channel, hopefully, is Dead Cell. We got to talk to the developers and get a card out, and hopefully that'll actually feed back to us. But Joe spent, I don't know how long, at least an hour playing this game over the course of the weekend, because they were having a challenge mode, basically, and anyone who could beat the boss was going to win something, and I honestly don't even remember what it was. I think it was a TV, but basically no one in the entire weekend at PAX beat this one boss, and that's got to tell you something for the difficulty curve of this game, but also it is this beautifully rendered 3D and 2D hack and slash platformer, and Joe's way into it. It looks great. I would love to see it and play more myself. And the number 3 best game of the weekend, I would say, was probably, and it's tough because, God, there were so many good options, and I'm not trying to slight any that were there or that we've made good relationships with now, but the game that I had the most fun with out of the weekend was the Darwin Project, which is weird because it's exactly not my kind of game typically. It's a highly competitive survival game, and that's very odd. They've taken the best parts of survival games where you have to cut down trees, build fires, cook food, etc., but they've distilled those down to its simplest form, and then they've thrown that into an arena fighter. So it's kind of like Hunger Games or Battle Royale, if you prefer, meets Team Fortress. or some other kind of free-for-all deathmatch, actually, meets Quake. You get thrown in, you don't have a team, you can make alliances, but they are tenuous at best. And you are forced to first make a fire because you are freezing to death, which means cutting down a tree, and then start crafting weapons for yourself that you take on to your opponents. Technology drops from the sky, so you can build cooler and neater things. It's all very fast-paced. I think every game was about 20 minutes long at most. And that was for like the really drawn out ones, because one cool mechanic they have is, just like in Hunger Games, they start closing the environment down, and you don't want to be in a cell that's going to get closed, so you have to run to where something is open, and that's where everyone else is running, and it forces conflict between players. So you can't camp out forever, you can't harvest everything because everybody's going for the same drops. It's so good, I'm so into it. I can't wait for this game to come out and actually get to play it on a regular basis, because I don't do the big shooters and other competitive games, but this is one I think I can get into for fun, just because every time you start again, you're kind of, skill levels will build, but you're working with disadvantages and advantages at the same as everybody else. So I'm into it. I loved it. All three of those games look great. There were so many others I want to mention, like Buck and Tooth and Tail, which actually the artist for that is a friend of a friend, and it's this great like Redwall RTS played with a controller, and it blew my fucking mind, because I've never played an RTS with a controller that worked, and this one did. So I want to go into that more, but I'm going to stop myself. PAX was amazing, is the long and short of this vlog. It was an incredible event. I'm so happy to have gone. But there were other things outside of PAX that mattered even more to me. That was meeting Courier Luke for the first time and getting to hang out with him. That was hanging out with our buddy Dylan of Ward Games and some of the other guys from that podcast, who actually had a panel. They're from Richmond, but they were in Boston for PAX as well. They had a panel that went great. They were talking about some hidden gems of indie games. And then we did a podcast together, which, if you like hearing me talk about PAX, you can hear more about it there. I'll drop a link in the description to their website, and then you can follow that up to when the PAX podcast releases. I'm not sure when it'll be. We've got that coming out. And then on Monday after the con, we get to hang out with some of our favorite people in the world who we've only met online. They couldn't make it to the con, but they drove 2 hours just to see us in Boston. Golem and his partners, Frogbat and Slime, showed up at Luke's house. We hung out. We played Super Mario World, even though we're running that on the channel. It was just like a fun thing to do together. We went to the Boston Aquarium and made friends with Cuttlefish, or enemies possibly, when they put up a threat display. It was very crazy. But what was so cool is that all of these people who we have all of these internet relationships with, Luke, Golem, Frogbat Slime, even Dylan to some extent, hanging out with them after 2 years of doing this YouTube channel and only having mostly internet relationships, it felt completely natural. It felt so cool to get together and just have a good time like we were old friends forever. And that meant so much to me. I thought, I was worried it was going to be awkward. I was sick when Golem and them got there, and I was like, God, am I going to just be like a drag the whole time? I apologize that it probably wasn't as energetic and fun as I could have been. But man, we had fun anyway. Like, it's just good times. So glad I got to meet you guys, and I look forward to continuing this channel and pushing for exactly that kind of stuff. Finding the opportunities to meet you guys and hang out and build our friendships, and the channel, which started as a thing for Joe and I to rebuild our friendship as brothers, has grown into something so much more, this much bigger family. And I want to meet all of you guys, and I want to keep going because of things like this, and how it reinvigorated my love for doing this stuff, to just have you guys connect with us. So thank you, Golem, Luke, Dylan, Frogbat, Slime, anyone else who's out there watching right now. Thank you. Wow, wow.
Really kick it.
Yo,
playing some free stroke Sonic Golf.
Sonic Golf.